Hello everyone and welcome along to the FIA World Karting Championship. The final 4 races taking place here in the southern island of Macau. A beautiful little circuit, 1,200 meters in length. Very fiddly, but a great place to come. Qualify particularly well outside the top 14 positions. Verstappen on the pole with Camponeschi alongside Felice Tieni and Tom Joyner. A surprise in the LH kart in 4th position. Oh no, that's Camponeschi in a Tony kart. The championship leader can't get the kart started and will not take the start. And Tom Joyner having a clear run of things going towards the first corner because Camponeschi not starting the race. And they head down towards the hairpin then. It's CRG. Ben Hanley muscling his way into 3rd position. And the Lewis Hamilton, Tom Joyner did not get a good start at all. Where is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there going through shot. Sasakai on the Cosmic in 7th position, doing some defending as well. And plenty of overtaking opportunities throughout this lap. The second hairpin. Got 2 complex of hairpins and Tom Joyner sitting behind Davide Fore then, flicking through the right and left far chicane, and then another section of hairpins, the second on the lap. Joyner just giving Fore just a bit of a hurry up. He's got Sasakai coming up behind him. There are our leaders though, Felice Tieni and Max Verstappen with Ben Hanley in 3rd position, and Hanley is looking fast at the moment, coming towards this main overtaking opportunity on this circuit. The hairpin down at the far end of the track, and he dives up the inside, in fact takes 2nd, because running wide there with Max Verstappen, and he's let Ben Hanley through. Felice Tieni's going to move up to 2nd position as Verstappen's gone down to 3rd. We ride on board with Pedro Hiltbrand in 4th position on the Fernando Alonso chassis. Hiltbrand very strong in the KF2 World Cup. That was the last round of the FIA CIK races in Zuera about a month ago now. Hanley was there to support the young chargers of the ART fold, but now he's representing ART and leading the race here. The World Championship. He's not going to be able to win the championship, really. Realistically, only those 4 that we showed you at the start of the programme can actually win. And that means that Camponeschi has to have a DNF, and he hasn't even started this one. Joyner up the inside for another position, so he's moving forward after good qualifying, but a very, very bad start. In fact, now looks like he's up to 4th spot, so he was deposing then Felice Tieni down some positions, and it's now Hanley, Verstappen, Pedro Hiltbrand, and Tom Joyner just behind them through the 2nd section of hairpins, all on the same tyres, and they predict with this very, very hot circuit, hot surface, that the tyres will not last for a full day. Remember, they've got to do not only 1 race, but they've got to do 2 races. Change of the lead though as Verstappen dives up the inside of Hanley. Hanley gets moved wide and Pedro Hiltbrand comes through. Joyner flat out down the back straight, had better momentum but had to think better of it and get out the throttle. Now Ben Hanley opens the door for Pedro Hiltbrand, and Tom Joyner moves up into 2nd position. Saw that all developing, so much going on. This is a proper short circuit kart race. Davide Fore behind Felice Tieni. Oh no, and they've collected each other. That move was never on from Fore, and I think he may be out of it, and therefore spells disaster for the championship battle. Fore, Camponeschi, Tien all really struggling at the moment. Tien continues, but is making up ground rather than fighting at the front of the field like he was, and there is Davide Fore out of the race. Right then, Verstappen leads. Joyner 2nd, then a gap to Ben Hanley and Pedro Hiltbrand. Just starting to settle down a little bit. The drivers know that it's a long race. It should take about 20 odd so minutes, maybe 22 minutes. Plenty of hairpins and some fast corners as well, and the rear tyres need to be preserved. So there's going to be a bit of a lull in the middle of this race as everyone tries to sort each other out. We go on board with Tom Joyner. This circuit heavily revamped for this year. And you can see it's got new tarmac all the way around that just doesn't have the grip of the old tarmac. It's not a circuit that's often used anymore, but Tom Joyner finds some speed down the inside of hairpin 1 and takes the lead of the race then. The LH machine didn't have a good run of things in Suzuka, languishes down the standings, and the championship cannot. Well, it could mathematically win the championship, but is unlikely to. On board with Felice Tieni, and he's calling it a day. Looks like the engine has packed up on his CRG BMB. And it's a disaster for Faure and Tien in the CRG camp. However, the Lewis Hamilton chassis is made by CRG and is leading the race, and is leading by a very long way as well. Joyner has got this one sewn up. Max Verstappen, though, looks under pressure from Ben Hanley going into the hairpin. Look further back. Hanley decides against making a move at the first hairpin, but surely there's going to be no momentum for Verstappen defending through hairpin 2 as well. Hildebrand now attacks. Hildebrand comes up the inside of both of them. Verstappen still defending, and they go side by side for third position. Ben Hanley's there somewhere about. Now Hildebrand has to go defensive, but Hanley's pushed him wide at the third hairpin. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, the checkered flag falls, and it is Tom Joyner who wins the race. In second position, that's a lapped kart going past, was Verstappen in the end, and Pedro Hildebrand being promoted to third because Ben Hanley being given a penalty after that slightly rash move at the end of the race. Sasakai there finishing in 7th position, but the focus is on the top 3 on the podium. Tom Joyner receiving the trophy for race 1 of the weekend. He's still got 3 more to do, and there is a very happy Englishman. Pedro Hildebrand is the 3rd position man. Let's hear from him now.
I worked very hard in the weekend, and in the final one I was very quickly, and I conserved the tires like the other drivers to be good in the final 2, and in the last lap some action from the other drivers, it wasn't really good, but okay, it's okay. He take the penalty, and I was finished 3rd.
Max Verstappen held on to 2nd after huge defensive work.
Well, in the beginning was not bad. I could keep up with Tom, and just the last 5 laps were really hard for me. The rear tires were completely gone, so that's why I had to defend the last lap for Ben and Hildebrand. So yeah, it was not bad. Finishing 2nd is still good for the championship because Camponeschi didn't start. So I gained again 20 points on him. So everything is open again.
And your winner, Tom Joyner, on the LH chassis from the UK.
I'm really happy. First win of the year for LH Racing Team, and for me as well since joining them at the start of this year. I want to say thanks to KBS Engines. But the start wasn't perfect. I had to leave a gap because Flavio didn't arrive to the grid. And when Max slowed down in the tram lines, it got a little nudge from behind and ended up having to slow down even more so that I didn't jump the start. I dropped maybe back down to about 6th or 7th. But gradually, we knew I had the speed, so we gradually worked, maybe 6th, 5th, won every other lap. And then I caught up with Max and passed him quite easily, but I didn't expect to pull away that much because the pace was just so good, the kart was perfect. And I mean, we've looked after the tyres quite well, so hopefully we can do it again in race 2.
Plenty more action coming from Macau, race 2 after this break. Welcome back to Macau, race 2 of the World Karting Championship, and there is the man that leads the championship, Flavio Camponeschi, at the very back of the grid. The grid formed from the result of race 1. He didn't even start race 1, and therefore he starts from the very back. Another retiree, Felice Tieni.
Hi, I'm Felice Tieni, CRG official driver. I won in 2009 the Asia Pacific in Suzuka, and 2012 in Spain I won the World Cup in KF2. I'm here for 2012 for Macau Grand Prix World Cup in Macau.
In fact, the World Championship this is, and the grid. Tom Joyner, Max Verstappen, 1st and 2nd. Hildebrand and Lennox Lamb. We'll see him in 4th position. Ben Hanley starting in 6th. And over the start and finishing line they go. Joyner gets a much better start than he did in race 1. Remember, he fell back, way back in race 1. Plenty of people going wide through that first corner or onto the grass. Very dry grass, not a lot of rain in this part of the world. Ben Hanley stuck on the curb and can't get the power down, has been swamped by 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 5 cars. Flavio Campaneschi is at the back of the field, and just look at the amount of people he's carving his way through. Ooh, slightly overexcited through there, but he's made some good positions. Needs to be a little bit more careful when cutting through traffic like that, and maybe that was just a little bit rash, but either way, he's got himself up well into the top 15 spots after a very, very good start. There's more chaos going on further ahead of Felice Tieni, who's not been quite so aggressive. He's followed Campaneschi through, and there is Campaneschi in the 2 car just ahead. So those two working together. Remember, Davide Foro is also another retiree who starts at the back of the field. And here now, Campaneschi looks down the inside of the 44 kart of Andy Chang, takes the position, but also allows Felice Tieni to have a quick look as they go down the back straight, back into the stadium section of the circuit, all set within a bowl. Further ahead, Carol Bash having a quick look, trying to make a pass on the number 3 kart, and here's Davide Foro, who hasn't had as good a start as his compatriots and is still working his way through the field. And when you've got so much more speed than the rest of the karts around you, it's very, very difficult to not make an error. Verstappen now on the back of Tom Joyner. Really struggled with his tyres at the end of race 1. Looks down the inside and takes the position early on. Now he'll want to control the pace of this race. Look what's going on further back though. Wow! Campaneschi we go on board with, and he's now at the front of that field, but I'm sure he was causing some of the fracas as he was going through those karts, and now he is well inside the top 10 already after just lap 4. The Italian wants to win this championship. You can drop a score, and therefore he will drop that first DNF, or did not start DNS even, but he cannot afford to make any more errors, have any more problems. Otherwise, there is a possibility that Tom Joyner, having such an incredible weekend, could outclass him. Davide Foro finds a way through past the 20 kart and moves up yet one more position. Ben Hanley has got the Cosmic number 4 kart behind him. Sasakai just not as fast as he was in Suzuka. Suzuka is home track, and therefore expected to do well, but struggling just a little bit here in Macau. Still lying 4th, far better than his result in race 1. We go on board with Max Verstappen down into the hairpin, look stage right, and through goes Tom Joyner once more to take the lead back. And now into the stadium section once again. Joyner wants to lead this race. He didn't feel the pace was good enough from Max Verstappen, and he's set his sights on a clear track ahead of him and maybe trying to pull away just a little bit. Ben Hanley in 3rd position. Daiki Sasakai in 4th position at the moment on the Cosmic kart. But watch out for Campaneschi, for Foro, from Tiene. All moving up through the field and all going to be on the back of this pack very soon, and surely that's why Tom Joyner needs to try and up the pace from these guys. Oh, Verstappen's got a problem. Verstappen's hand goes in the air, and Verstappen is retiring out of the race. Nightmare for the Dutchman. Max Verstappen has such a good following thanks to his father Jos even, and Verstappen's day is done. Nightmare. There is Daiki Sasakai, and then just behind Pedro Hiltbrand, Flavio Campaneschi, and one of the 2 CRGs is already up there as well. So Hiltbrand really struggling in the mid part of this race, falling into the clutches of those fighting for the championship. But just look at the speed that the Tony Kart driver has over the Fernando Alonso, and you can see that Hiltbrand fiddling around on the right hand side of his car. He's fiddling around with the carburettor there, trying to get more speed out of the engine, better mix fuel to air, and therefore make the engine run better. And it's not working for the moment because he is going backwards. Campaneschi up one more position. Going well for the Italian. And then ahead of him, a CRG. Ben Hanley is also there. And of course, Tom Joyner now leading by a country mile thanks to Max Verstappen's retirement. Ben Hanley in second. And then we saw Sasakai going through the shot. Jordan Lennox-Lamb also having a strong yet quiet run on the back of these three. And then Camponeschi starting to reel them in and looking for a podium in this second race, which will be absolutely epic, having started down in something like 25th position after his retirement from race 1. He's managed to leave the other two CRGs behind, Felice Tieni and Davide Fore, both trying to do the same thing as Camponeschi, starting from the back, and they just haven't had the speed. Lennox-Lamb goes up the inside of Sasakai and moves himself onto the podium, and now Camponeschi on the back of the Japanese driver, and he's going to make a move through the first turn, much wider this year than it was in previous years, and is an easy overtaking opportunity. This whole Potters circuit used to have all sorts of funny kinks in it, but thanks to a massive reinvestment, it's looking better than ever in Macau. It's not used any longer as a public kart circuit, and therefore there are no places for the public to come and kart in Macau, but used for major races both nationally and of course internationally. Jordan Lennox-Lamb into second position past Ben Hanley. Camponeschi does the double though down the inside as they go through the final turn. Great opportunistic driving, and now Ben Hanley's going to try and fight back, and he has better speed too, because Jordan Lennox-Lamb was on the outside line and could not keep the momentum. Camponeschi is up to second. Ben Hanley looks to the inside once more. Remember, he was penalised in the previous race for making a little bit of a rash move on the final lap. He won't want to do that once more, but Hanley looking strong. He's using that front brake pretty viciously. The front end almost sort of sliding sideways into the turn. There's been some contact between Lennox-Lamb and Sasakai is the big beneficiary of that. Further back, Davide Fore run on board with. He's got Andy Chan ahead of him. You can see how far back he was. Camponeschi was past Chang a long time ago, and now Davide Fore finds a way through, but really it's too little too late. Through that final turn, the rear end moving around quite a lot. Lennox-Lamb under pressure from Sasakai, who's trying to get back on the podium. But I think there's been a bit of contact there. Either that or his engine's giving up the ghost, because Sasakai's got some serious blue smoke coming out the back of that car. Maybe there was a bit of contact that's dislodged something. Either way, it could be day done for the Cosmic driver, unless it is just rubber rubbing against rubber and causing that blue smoke. It's not going well for the Japanese driver whatsoever. Over the line though, the checkered flag has fallen for Tom Joyner, and he has taken victory. Camponeschi second, Lennox-Lamb in third spot, Sasakai holding on for fourth, Hanley fifth, Tieni and Fore can only manage sixth and seventh by the end, and Pedro Hilbrand dropping down to ninth spot. So another podium and another Tom Joyner on the top step. Lewis Hamilton will be smiling from afar, his name on the top with a British flag on top of it. Tom Joyner doing the honours. Camponeschi will be happy for second as well. And in third position, Jordan Lennox-Lamb.
Yeah, it was very good. Pre-final was quite calm, or sorry, final one was very calm, kept the tyre good, so I knew that I had a good pace for final two. Fortunately, the start didn't go my way and I dropped back a little bit, but no, come through well. A few passes, the last few laps was exciting though. It's a very good race.
Incredibly strong race from Flavio Camponeschi, taking the second.
Fantastic race for me, and for the race one I have one problem in the engine, and no can start for the race, but in the second race it's very good start, and all race I'm go very fast and arrive second.
And tomorrow, what are your hopes?
I hope the win the race, and I hope good for the championship, and see you tomorrow.
Tom Joyner though, 2 out of 2 on Saturday in Macau.
I'm really happy. The start of the race was a little bit difficult. The chassis was sliding a lot, but 3 or 4 laps in, the tyres began to work, and gradually caught back up with Max. Just stayed with him for a few laps, made sure we were pulling away, and then just picked my time and made my move. And I guess he had an engine problem or something, but I think we had the speed to beat him today anyway. I mean, it was also lucky that Flavio had a problem in race 1, because obviously he came from last to second, so I knew that I had to get away quickly. So no, but I'm really happy to come here and win a race. Was more than like a wish for, because I haven't been here before, but to win 2 is absolutely perfect.
So despite all the dramas on the first day, not much has changed in the championship. Felice Tiene in 3rd position behind Sasakai, who holds on after that strong result in race 2, but still leading despite the DNF in race 1 of the weekend, Flavio Campaneschi in the Tony Kart. Finals day coming up, the Sunday action from Macau after this break. Welcome along to Macau, the Sunday races, and a beautiful blue clear sky welcoming drivers to the circuit in the morning. Flavio Campaneschi looking strong today after his disappointment in race 1, and the CRG team really psyching each other up to try and take on the Tony Kart rider.
Hello, my name is Daiki Sasaki. I'm from Japan. I'm a driver of Cosmic Racing team. I have won the All Japan Championship for 2 times, and I hope to win in Macau.
So strong in Japan, but not a particularly strong weekend here. 6th again in qualifying for Sasakai. Campaneschi on the pole, then Verstappen, Tieni and Tonini and Jordan Lennox-Lamb all alongside each other. So the lone Tony Kart at the front with lots of CRGs behind. Here we go in racing on the Sunday. Look at the stream of black and orange as they head down towards the hairpin. A bit of contact further back, and Sasakai was one of those who was out on the curbs and having to do some muscling further back, but ahead of him, Verstappen has muscled Campaneschi well wide in the first hairpin, and suddenly a swarm of CRGs has passed. There's a lot of people trying to sort each other out. Just look at Ben Hanley trying to get through the pack there, and he's not had a particularly good start either. Sasakai running wide through the second hairpin. On board with Max Verstappen behind Ben Hanley. Verstappen doing a good job for CRG in pushing Campaneschi very, very wide. A dive move from Ben Hanley puts him up 1 position, and Max Verstappen follows through as well. In the lead of the race, we've got Tien. I think Foray is in 2nd position, and then Joyner. Max Verstappen in the slipstream of Ben Hanley, and goes very, very late down the inside of Hanley. He's got some work to do if he wants to win this race, but I think he was really being used as a buffer. Hiltbrand now goes up 1 position and deposes, I think, Jordan Lennox-Lamb of 1. So Hiltbrand is playing an interloper in the Fernando Alonso kart, but no sign of Campaneschi. He's outside the top 6 positions after a very, very aggressive first lap. There is Max Verstappen. Sasakai behind in the next group. So where is Campaneschi? Well, he's at the back of that group, so he's actually not even in the top 10 positions. Tom Joyner lying in 3rd position. Pedro Hiltbrand is on fire this morning. Down the inside and up to 3rd then for Pedro Hiltbrand. Gets behind the Nassau panel. As you can see, the engine's pretty evenly matched there. There is Campaneschi. Needs to be careful about how he overtakes these people. Past one of the Japanese Cosmic mounted drivers. And he's now got Carol Bash, his next opponent, to try and get past on the Birrell machine. And there's a replay. Let's have a look at the front. Yep, very simple. Verstappen just sitting on his rear bumper and just pushing Campaneschi wide, and it put him way, way down the field. Now back on board with Tom Joyner, who goes up into 3rd position. Takes a spot and follows through Pedro Hiltbrand. Verstappen has got himself up a few positions. Campaneschi goes past Carol Bash. Is Bash still there on the left-hand side? No, he's not. Campaneschi's able to take the line. And thanks his compatriot for his compliance there, because Campaneschi still needs to have a decent result in these 2 races. And he's got lots of CRGs to try and get past. And remember, wherever you finish this race, you start the next one. So he needs to be careful to make sure that he doesn't get knocked off. Look at the stream of karts ahead of him. Mainly CRGs in there. On board with Jordan Lennox-Lamb, going down into the hairpin. Lennox-Lamb losing a spot to Tonini, one of the oldest of the drivers here for sure in the World Championship, a long-time stalwart of the CRG fold. And he's playing his part as well. Jordan Lennox-Lamb then dropping down one spot. Verstappen is also there and thereabouts. Tierney, it is that still leads the race. I think the CRG team have decided that Davide Fore maybe doesn't have any chance now of winning the championship, so they're focusing their hopes on Felice, who is leading. He's got Pedro Hilbrand in second and chasing and getting closer, and then Tom Joyner, then three more CRGs, Ben Hanley, Sasakai, and then Camponeschi. So poor old Flavio is going to be really thinking about how he's going to get past all of these guys working for one goal, and that is to keep him from winning the World Championship. However, there are two interlopers, Ben Hanley and Pedro Hilbrand, and Hilbrand wants to win this race. After disappointment in the second final yesterday, he's looking strong here. Lennox-Lamb has to open the door and loses a spot and two spots, three spots. Oh, you see, you just get left on the outside of one corner and it goes from very, very good to very, very bad. Tom Joyner down the inside of Pedro Hilbrand for second position at the hairpin. It's all rather closed up at the front of the field now. Tierney still leads, but what will be the team orders for Tom Joyner as Tonini makes up a position in the 22 machine, up one. Verstappen will want to follow him through, I'm sure. And they've got past Pedro Hilbrand, who again has gone out the blocks, all guns blazing, and is now going backwards. Ben Hanley's the next person to challenge him. Well, Joyner, as I was saying, is on a machine built by CRG but branded by Lewis Hamilton. A different team, although he's considered part of the CRG fold. And here comes Verstappen again on Tonini. The second time he's had to do this. This time makes it stick. Yellow flags on the left-hand side, though. Now, was that a move made under yellow flags? Yeah, green flags at the back of the field, so it was. Ben Hanley goes up the inside to take a position. Tonini now starting to fall back. Pedro Hilbrand followed him through. And here comes Camponeschi and Andy Chang having a good run of things, the Macanese driver. Home circuit in the Tony kart. Camponeschi behind Tierney. Tierney will make this CRG very, very wide. He'll know that it's a Tony kart behind. He'll see flashes of green and white. But Camponeschi seems to, well, I was about to say, it seems to be as fast. But look at that, the BMB just picking up a little bit more speed down to the hairpin. And Camponeschi has to go very, very deep into the hairpin to make that pass stick. But he just about manages it. Tonini was very fair there, not to just turn in on the nose. It certainly compromised his speed. And now Camponeschi's got a bit of clear track to continue to work on getting himself into the top 5 positions. Half the race gone, yet half still remain. And now Camponeschi has a rather angry Tonini, no doubt, on behind him, backed up by yet another CRG. Now we know that it was very, very strong, the car, in terms of engine going down to the hairpin, as Joyner now goes up the inside to take the lead of the race. Once again, Tom Joyner leads in Macau. Never been here before. Won both Saturday races, and if he wins this one, it doesn't matter what he does on the 4th race. He'll take maximum points because you can drop a score, remember. Meanwhile, Camponeschi is having to be very careful about how he approaches the race. He does not want to be taken off. So Felice Tierney then down to 2nd position. No team orders between those two. Tierney is 3rd in the championship, remember, coming into this race, and needs as many points as he possibly can get. Verstappen also, after good qualifying and knocking the Tony Kart rider off at that particular hairpin there on the first lap, he's now into a podium position once again. Oh, but Ben Hanley's now found some speed. Hanley, a single-seater master, raced in GP2 for a while, and he knows how to preserve tyres. He's been working very hard on GP2 and GP3 cars this year, alongside developing the ART chassis. He'll know how to make the best of his Bridgestone tyres he's got on. And now under the bridge for another time. Joyner from Tiene, from Hanley, Verstappen fourth, then Pedro Hiltbrand. And Camponeschi some way back, although there was a quick change there. I think Pedro Hiltbrand's lost his fifth spot. Probably Jordan Lennox-Lamb deposing him of that position. Felice Tiene now further back, losing one position, losing two positions. Tiene down to fourth as Verstappen comes through. Verstappen not on the same engine, interestingly, as the rest of the CRG fold. Has been in Europe, entered by CRG Holland, entered by the main team here, but running a TM engine, thanks to his father's links with the TM brand. But the checker flag is out. Joyner takes the checker flag again. Hanley in second position, and Verstappen over the line in third. However, getting a penalty once again for his move on the first lap on Flavio Camponeschi, taking one for the team, perhaps is what they call that. So Tiene up to third, Lennox-Lamb fourth, and Camponeschi finishing fifth. But a very familiar flag and face on the top. Lennox-Lamb, Tiene, Hanley, Joyner ahead of him. Pedro Hiltbrand will be looking to move up. Andy Chang in seventh position for Tony Kart on his home circuit. Carol Bash in eighth position as well. And Davide Fore as well, further back in the field for CRG. Verstappen has got some work to do after his disqualification. Down towards the first hairpin we go then, and Tom Joyner leads and takes the whole shot into the hairpin. Everyone seems to have made it through. Certainly far less bashing than we had before, and Verstappen in the middle of the pack there had a problem. The car just wasn't running. Here comes Camponeschi trying to find a way past Carol Bash, so Camponeschi's had a bad start as well. And remember, he needs a decent result here to keep his championship. If he DNFs, then Tom Joyner will become champion. He is leading the race at the moment. Of course, Tom Joyner needs to win the race, but Camponeschi must come at least 12th. And at the moment, he's quite close to that threshold. Down the inside of Carol Bash then. Up one position for the Tony Kart rider. CRG have been dominating over the years in the World Championship, most famously winning with people like Guido van der Garde, the GP2 driver, Tonio Liuzzi, the WEC driver. All CRG drivers, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, now Formula One stars, and of course Davide Fore, winning many, many times the World Championship, but he did that with Tony Kart, not CRG. The last winners of the World Championship, Nick de Vries, two-time World Karting Champion on the Zanardi chassis, which is manufactured by CRG. The last time Tony Kart won the World Championship was with Marco Adigo in 2008. But this man, Flavio Camponeschi, is out to change all that. And at the moment, it's looking good. Carol Bash, he's managed to now fend the attentions off. He's got Andy Chang just ahead of him. And Chang shouldn't be too much of a problem. It might be his local circuit. He's having a go at Pedro Hiltbrand. He looks over his shoulder and says, no, not today. At the front of the field, though, Felice Tiene still putting up a good fight. He's been there and thereabouts throughout the weekend. Tom Joyner, though, really has been the star. Ben Hanley has also been in the top 5 positions throughout most of the race, but he's faded at the end of the races. And remember, they were talking about tyres a huge amount in the lead up to this race as Tiene goes into the lead, and Tom Joyner really getting bolted to that hairpin. So Hanley takes second and Joyner down to third. It's all about how the tyres will perform at the end of the second race. How will they last? How much of the drivers use the tyres throughout the day? And that will only be told in about 15 laps time. So Tiene, Hanley, Tom Joyner, then a little bit of a gap. And then the second group that includes Andy Chang in the Tony Kart, and also Flavio Camponeschi. Pedro Hiltbrand is in there as well. A beautiful day in Macau, absolutely fantastic. And there is Jordan Lennox-Lamb, and Camponeschi just trying to find a way through, and now dives down the inside and takes that position. So nice little move from Camponeschi, and that puts him to 4th position, but Lennox-Lamb is fighting back and really, really going hard and defensive. We've seen some of these CRG drivers this year being very, very forceful. Verstappen and Lennox-Lamb being the key players in some well, casting our minds back to the WSK race in Zuera, or indeed the World Karting race in Zuera. Also in Sarno, Lennox Lamb and Verstappen getting caught up in problems there. And Lennox Lamb desperate to make sure that Camponeschi couldn't get through, but it hasn't worked. And Camponeschi now has just got to get enough of a gap to not feel threatened by the presence of Lennox Lamb. Fourth position is by far enough to win this World Championship now. And he can just about, as long as he's got a gap, he can settle. On board with Karel Basch. Again, Pedro Hiltbrand trying to fiddle around with his engine. He's just not getting the speed out of that kart. In the morning it's okay, but in the afternoon it's just not working for him. Again, the right hand over the carburettor, fiddling around with the mixture, trying to find some more speed. Something you used to see a lot in the old days, but the engines now, these KF1 engines, much more regular. No need to choke them as much as you used to and fiddle around with the carburation. A great battle though ensuing at the front of the field here. Over the line for another time. Tiene, Hanley and Tom Joyner absolutely nailed to his bumper. Looking to the left, looking to the right. Ben Hanley sees him. Tom Joyner dives down the inside, and as soon as Ben Hanley's head turned, Tom Joyner knew he was safe to make that move. And he's up to second position. Remember, it doesn't really matter if he wins this race. He's already got the maximum points for the championship. It's really where Camponeschi and Sasakai and Tiene finish that will influence where Tom Joyner ends up in the World Championship standings and whether he'll go to Istanbul or not and celebrate with the other FIA champions. This is an FIA accredited championship, like the World Rally Championship, like the World Touring Car Championship, like the World Endurance Championship, and of course like Formula One. They all have their awards ceremony at the end of the year, as well as the CIK awards as well in January. Tom Joyner though now wants the lead of the race. Down the inside he goes for Felice Tiene, takes the position, takes a little bit of curve on the left hand side. It's pretty aggressive and just touches that through this fast right hander, tries to keep the kart to the right hand side as much as possible to get a good line through the hairpin, then flicks to the left, downhill, and now plunging continuously further downhill. Fast right, fast left. Get the kart slowed down for the next two hairpins. Make sure you get a good run of things out of this particular hairpin, which is still going downhill, and now you're accelerating uphill all the way through this turn. Flat out if you're on the good racing line, and look at the speed that he's already made up. Tom Joyner has the tyres at the end of this race for sure. There is Max Verstappen making progress from the back of the field. And just checking out some of the contenders further back. Verstappen is not going to make any imprint on this particular race. And all thanks to the fact that he got disqualified from the race one action after, pushing Camponeschi wide at that first turn. It was needed. Karel Basch, look at the speed that Karel Basch has. Camponeschi has settled down in his laurels and has been passed quite considerably by Karel Basch, who seems to have the better pace going towards the second half of this race. And has Camponeschi got a problem? If he has, that could throw the championship wide open. That could throw it towards the Lewis Hamilton driver. Tom Joyner could still win. Hanley is also struggling for pace later on in this race, and he's falling into the clutches of Karel Basch. We haven't had a Birrell on the podium in this weekend, and they do like their Japanese branding, although they are of course an Italian manufacturer, as are 90% of the chassis around the paddock. Basch down the inside of Ben Hanley and onto the podium, that means. So that's important, and Hanley has a quick look, try and get that back to the position, but can't do it through that fast right-hander. Now settles in, and Camponeschi is going to try and do that too. So Hanley is starting to struggle as those tyres go off, and he may lose another one and allow Camponeschi up one further spot. Camponeschi in fifth at the moment. It's far, far good enough to win him the championship. He looks to the inside through this fast final turn, the uphill climb to the start and finishing line, and he moves into fourth position. So it looks like it is going to go an Italian champion, although and he fights back, gets back to 4th spot, and I'm not quite sure what that is all about. Yellow flags, that's what it was. There was a green flag in the background there, and there were yellow flags being shown down at the hairpin. Therefore, Camponeschi let him past because he had made the pass under the yellow flag. Very sensible driving, because that could have really caused massive problems. The final lap, though, has fallen. Here comes Tom Joyner around the final turn. He is victor for the 4th time here in Macau. What an incredible victory. He should have gone and betted. That would have been the luck, but Camponeschi is the champion over the start and finishing line. 4th was enough for the Italian. Karel Basch will be on the podium in 3rd. Tiene, another podium in 2nd. But 2 stars here in Macau, Tom Joyner and Flavio Camponeschi. Joyner steps on the podium, and the British national anthem plays out over Macau, the Portuguese colony of China. What a weekend for Tom Joyner and the Lewis Hamilton chassis. Let's hear now from Karel Basch, your 3rd position man.
I am very
the champion this year, Tom Joyner, the man from Macau, in runner-up spot, and Felice Tieni in 3rd. Dai Sasaki, the loser, dropping down to 4th. Well, that's it from Macau. It's been a brilliant weekend's racing here, and we now know the 2012 World Karting Champion. That is Flavio Camponeschi. See you next time.